Is it worth spending the extra money for the Legion 7, or should you simply go with the Legion 5 Pro or Legion 5i Pro? In this video, we're going to answer those questions for you and help you pick the right laptop for your specific needs. Not based on my opinion of what I want or what somebody other YouTube channel wants, but what you want. That is the goal of this video. First and foremost, let's talk about the build and assembly of these two laptops. Personally, I noticed that the build quality on the Legion 7 just is a little bit more refined. We don't have this plastic ledge along the back. We have this nice aluminum ledge here that wraps the backside of the chassis. You can see it kind of has a nice shininess, whereas the plastic on the Legion 5 Pro is, well, plastic. So overall, that definitely lends to it being a bit of a heavier laptop than the Legion 5 Pro, but not too much heavier, but it's definitely noticeable. Now, these two laptops are not considered thin and light portable laptops by any stretch of the imagination, but they will get you on the go. In regards to battery life, you're going to get better battery life out of the Legion 7 by just a few minutes. And if you're trying to get battery life out of the Legion 5 or 5i Pro, I would choose the 5 Pro. The Ryzen processor is a bit more efficient than the Intel processor, and you can see all those results coming up on the screen for each of the different models. Now, the next thing I want to take a look at is the ports. What kind of connectivity do we have on each of these laptops? Looking at the back of these two laptops, you can see we have the exact same ports on the back of the chassis. Flipping up onto the left side, you see we have, again, two USB Type-Cs. And then flipping over to the other side of the chassis, I don't want to drop them. Okay, there we go. We have an extra USB-C on the Legion 7, where we have an extra USB Type-A on the Legion 5 series. So punch for punch, are you looking for more USB Type-C or do you want a USB Type-A? The screens are both 16-inch screens. However, you're going to get a little bit more color gamut range out of the Legion 5 Pro than you will the Legion 7, just a slight little bit. Now, the keyboards are very similar. It looks like the keys sit a little bit taller off the keyboard deck on the Legion 5 Pro than they do the Legion 7, but it's just barely noticeable, and they feel the same. So as far as the feeling is concerned, they both have a medium key press. Now, the trackpads are exactly the same. You can see we have the same size trackpad on both the Legion 7 and the Legion 5 Pro. Now, one thing that I think is very important, and this is something that you might consider if you want to have more control over your system. If you get the Legion 5 Pro, you have access to multiple GPU modes. So you can go into hybrid mode, hybrid iGPU only mode, hybrid auto mode, or discrete GPU mode. Whereas with the Legion 7, all you have is access to a toggle switch that lets you turn on and off hybrid mode. You don't have access to the other modes like you have on the 5 Pro. So keep that in mind. It might be to your advantage to choose the 5 Pro in order to get more control over your system if that's something you like to do. But as mentioned earlier, it didn't get you that much more battery life. So the hybrid mode was actually very efficient in controlling the power consumption on the Legion 7. Now, something else to keep in mind is you're going to get a lot more RGB on the Legion 7. This is RGB. There's RGB that comes out of the back of the chassis here, and there's RGB that comes out of the front of the chassis here, as well as the keyboard deck. Now, the 5 Pro does have RGB on the keyboard deck as well, but you're gonna have a lot fancier RGB coming out of the Legion 7. However, I will note that if you want good battery life, I wouldn't run the RGB. So for me personally, that would not be a reason that I would be all gung-ho on the Legion 7, because I would most likely just turn all the RGB off and get better battery life, and so the RGB would then be a futile upgrade for me personally. Don't know your thoughts. Now, they both come equipped with webcams, and here's a quick sample of each of the webcams in use for you so you can see what those look like. This is the webcam on the Lenovo Legion 5 Pro, and a little sample of the audio for you as well. This is the webcam on the Legion 7, and a little sample of the audio for you as well. And while we have the computers open, here's a quick audio sample of both of the speakers so you can see which one you like better. And in regards to using the keyboard and the trackpad, here's an audio sample of me using both of those. If you're curious about the exact pricing and availability of either of the models we're discussing here in the video, you can head down in the description below and click those links. If you do make a purchase, I'll get a small commission, but at no extra cost to you. But of course, that's what keeps this channel alive and the helpful content coming your way. Now, in regards to the upgrade path, both laptops allow you to upgrade both of the RAM sticks in the device. That is really good news because with the Legion Slim 7, you can only upgrade one of the RAM sticks. The Legion 7 allows access to both RAM sticks. So the upgrade path on both of these laptops is good. In regards to the thermal results, we're going to see better thermals with both the Legion 5i Pro and the 5 Pro. The Legion 7 still does good, but we do see 85 degrees Celsius in performance mode with a 52 decibel fan noise. Now, the export time is actually better on the Legion 5i Pro and the 5 Pro, and it runs cooler and slightly quieter. So overall, for video editing performance and thermal management, the 5i Pro and the 5 Pro are a better choice. If you've yet to subscribe to the channel, I definitely recommend doing so because when we pass 100,000 subscribers, we're gonna be kicking off a giveaway to give away 3 Legion 5 Pro. So definitely subscribe to the channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on that giveaway coming when we pass 100,000 subscribers. All right, now let's jump into the performance benchmarks. Punch for punch, when we're looking at the simulated benchmarks in both Geekbench single core and multi-core, you can see that the Legion 5i Pro definitely takes the lead over the Legion 7 and the Legion 5 Pro. So Intel is performing better in the simulated benchmarks over Ryzen. Again, in Cinebench R20 and R23 single core and multi-core, you can see that the 5i Pro is the better performing laptop. However, life is not made up of simulated benchmarks, as I like to say on this channel, so let's go ahead and check out some of the real world tests. As we get into Blender Classroom benchmark, you can see that the Legion 7 scores an 801 over the Legion 5 Pro and the 5i Pro in the 600s. So definitely going to be your pick if you're going to be using Blender with that more powerful GPU inside of the Legion 7. Now moving forward into Autodesk 3ds Max, Autodesk Maya, PTC Creo, and SolidWorks, all of these programs are absolutely dominated by the Legion 7. The first 3 could have been a toss-up, but the last one I was absolutely certain that it would perform better because this is an AMD Radeon GPU inside of the Legion 7, and they historically perform better for SolidWorks as opposed to the NVIDIA gaming GPUs. I always say, if you're gonna use SolidWorks, either get a NVIDIA workstation GPU or an AMD GPU. The latest ones are very well optimized for SolidWorks. Now moving into Photoshop, the Legion 7 takes the crown by over 100 points, got a lot more performance. Really the big help is increased RAM that the Legion 7 comes with. If they were matched punch for punch at 16 gigs of RAM, we'd probably see a much more similar score, but Photoshop really likes RAM. So if you buy the Legion 5 or 5i Pro and you go ahead and you upgrade the RAM to 32 gigs, you're gonna get very similar performance as the Legion 7. So just keep that in mind. You can actually save some money by going with the Legion 5 or 5i Pro, upgrade the RAM, and have equal performance inside of Photoshop. Now looking at After Effects, we see the same thing, that the Legion 7 is performing better, and I really think that's a bit to do with the RAM. Well, and of course the larger GPU, that definitely helps out a lot too. We have, I think, 12 gigs of VRAM versus 6 gigs of VRAM. Now let's take a quick moment there to respect the Legion 5 Pro. It has 6 gigs of VRAM versus the 12 gigs of VRAM, and it's still keeping up with the Legion 7. Okay, that's just proof that the Legion 5 Pros are such bang for buck laptops. They are absolutely a stellar buy if you're on a mid-tier price point with your budget. All right, now moving on to the Premiere Pro Playback, we're seeing very similar results for 4K playback, 0 drop frames for all the laptops, 6K B-RAW, really close between the three laptops, only by about a difference of 30 points per laptop between them. And then red footage, they're all around the same point. I would say that the Legion 7 is going to get about 1,000 drop frames better than the Legion 5i and 5 Pro. But that's not a substantial enough difference to say, yeah, it's worth that much extra money to get that performance. Just keep that in mind. Now, moving forward to the export times, you can see that the 5i Pro has the best export time out of Premiere Pro, followed up by the 5 Pro, and then the Legion 7 all the way in last place. Now, this shocked me. And I'm not really sure if it's to do with the GPU or the CPU or the combo thereof, but it did not get as good of export times. It's actually a minute slower than the 5i Pro. Now, as we move forward to the 6K Premiere Pro export, you can see that the Legion 7 is doing better. It's at the 18 minutes, so it didn't drop all the way down to 20 minutes, but still, the 5i Pro is a 14 minute and 43 second export time, 4 minutes faster than the Legion 7. So in regards to video editing, the Legion 5 Pro is definitely a better contender, and it's even at a better price point. Again, links in the description below if you're curious about the live pricing. Now, moving on to DaVinci Resolve, the 5i Pro takes the crown once again with the Legion 7 in last place. Now, the 5 Pro and the Legion 7 are pretty much neck and neck, just keep that in mind. But if you want to get the best results, I would go with the 5i Pro. Now, which one should you choose? Personally, if it were me, I would go for the 5i Pro. It's the best bang for buck. It has great performance and a solid battery life. Not as good as the Ryzen version, so if you want more battery life, consider the Legion 5 Pro. But the battery life was only about an hour more, which is quite a bit, but for the performance you get out of the 5i Pro, I just think it's such a great buy. The Legion 7 is a killer contender if you're going to get into 3D modeling. So if you're a 3D modeler and you're thinking, 5i Pro or 5 Pro versus Legion 7, the Legion 7 all the way. That GPU in there, it gets much better performance. Punch for punch, they're 3 great laptops. I just think the 5i Pro and the 5 Pro are a better bang for buck. Links in the description if you're ready to make a purchase. Likes of this video has brought you some value. And don't forget to subscribe so we can reach 100,000 subscribers and kick off the Legion 5 Pro giveaway. I'll see you here in the next episode.